started early, took my dog, and visited the sea. The mermaids in the basement came out to look at me. Muir Erin.
Manx Sea.
Irish Sea.
U-boat alley. An arm of the North Atlantic Ocean, separating Ireland and Great Britain, a realm which has been penetrated, permeated, pervaded, filled with thousands of treasures, holding tales of our great, great, great ancestors, possessing the past, present, and future intellect, ego, vitality, personality, burdens and strife of its surrounding lands and people. The crash of the waves sculpting the lives of those who cross them. Two-faced ocean tide, a current of serenity and a turbulent force.
Natija. Life moves in cycles. The tide is a permanent reminder of this. Speckle, shimmer, glimmer. The glossy waters sit waiting for their time to return to the shore, ready to cover in the little half-moons that the earlier versions of themselves created. A cycle of moving, coming and going.
Toing and froing, breathing in and out.
Filling the sandy potholes with a morsel of heavenly fluid.
And vice versa.
Constant. Its job all day, all night long, playing, searching, being.
Controlled by the moon, a body of water, a place where time runs on its own, listening to the heartbeat of its land.
To see and find the needs of its people.
To laugh, grow, cry tears into its open arms.
Wash away pains.
Snoozing, pausing.
Waking again.
Providing a space of clarity, truth, presence. A guide to port entry. Collision avoiding checklist. Keep a good lookout, particularly at night. Do not underestimate the speed of ships. Be visible. Watch the lights of other vessels. Know your whistle signals. Keep your VHF turned to channel 12.
But no man moved me, till the tide went past my simple shoe, and past my apron, and my belt, and past my bodice, too.
In 1658, Oliver Cromwell died on the island of Ireland. The Irish soil rejected his corpse. Each day it was found at the top of his coffin. So, Muir Éireann was tasked with the burden. Thrown into the sea, it sank down, down, down between Dublin and Holyhead, causing the Irish Sea to be turbulent ever since.
Definition of sea turbulence. In the upper ocean, microscale turbulence is generated by surface winds, air-sea cooling, or evaporation. In the ocean interior, microscale turbulence develops when internal waves develop strong shears and overturn and break, much like surface gravity waves.
In 1952, nuclear waste was first released into the Irish Sea.
It is contaminated water from the ponds.
Transuranic actinoid emission alpha particles.
The waste comes from laboratories, luminous paint and clock dials.
Greenpeace told us that Sellafield is pumping 8 million litres of radioactive discharges into the Irish Sea every day.
The government claims it is doing all it can. The opposition criticises lack of action. The environmental lobbies issue cancer warnings. It is a familiar merry-go-round. It is a familiar merry-go-round. Red and white, red and white, red and white, red and white.
I use these towers as a pit stop during my voyage, overlooking the coastline of this city. High above, the muddy banks, honeycomb reefs and seagrass beds. High above, the rocky shores, microorganisms graze in their tiny water pools as they await the next tide. High above, the wind turbines lighting up our city below. High above, the basking shark splicing the grey waters. High above, the glistening shell of a leatherback turtle drifting in the current. High above, my companions and I take flight, and we're off into the blue and white.
Blue and white, blue and white, blue and white. Night. The great unknown.
Over 12 million passengers and 17 million tonnes of traded goods pass between Great Britain and Ireland via the Irish Sea every year.
Irish sea crossings are sometimes colourful, sometimes mundane, sometimes exciting, sometimes full of pain. A familiar merry-go-round. The women pushed out of sight on the Liverpool boat. The ship sounds like 100 lavatories flushing. Scholars and artists who took their stories around the world. The truck drivers that bring our goods in and out of the country. To you and your connection you hold with this basin of water, with all of its molecules of wisdom and dullness, brightness and greyness, peace and clarity. Guide to exiting the port. Manoeuvring and warning signals. These signals may be supplemented by light signals. 1 short blast, altering to starboard. 2 short blasts, altering to port. 3 short blasts, going astern. 5 or more short blasts, keep clear.
20,000 years ago, the last glacial period ended. A freshwater lake, a saline water body, the Irish Sea. Width 240 kilometres, length 210 kilometres, depth 175 metres.
Until we met the solid town, no one he seemed to know, and bowing with a mighty look at me, the sea withdrew.